Hey everyone, welcome to r/Tales from Tech Support, where we get to have a little chuckle at the technologically disadvantaged. Like me. I'm Uncle Reddit, and have I got a story for you. And thank you guys for the warm responses to me sharing a little special moment with my pooch the other day during that recording. She's got a lot of sass, likes to mouth off, but she's cute, so we'll keep her. And yes, that is my dog, not a stock photo. Press Alt F4. Problem solved. You're welcome. Me. First level help desk grunt supporting the German parliament and its administration. A command script as old as time runs to connect all network drives when a user logs in and then closes the window after a few seconds. Directly after, everything else loads. Taskbar, desktop icons, etc. This usually works. Usually as in never not works. Until it didn't. The art of war rests on my desk, ready to lend me age-old wisdom should the need arise. Coffee's been had, breakfast consumed, the climate is temperate. Perfect conditions for supporting Germany's Byzantine bureaucracy. Ring ring. There's no exclamation mark as the phone is sophisticated and calm. Quite, tut tut. Me. Help desk, this is OP, how can I help you? Caller. Hello, I logged into my PC and now there's just a black box on the screen. It says... Me. Click the X to close it. Caller. Mouse ain't moving, chief. He didn't say it like that, but it sounds cooler. It's called needless embellishment. Me. Press Alt plus F4. Problem solved. Caller. Alt and F. Now it's gone and... Oh, everything's here now. That was fast, thanks. Me. You're welcome. Have a nice day. Caller. Bye. Click. Me. Next. It's just instinct at this point. I think I've been doing this for too long, and it hasn't even been a year. Yeah, at least it sounds like everybody's polite where you work. Doesn't sound like people are being Karens or Kens or Kevins or Kyles or whatever you want to call them. And it sounds like you're patient with them too. Even though you kind of blurted that instruction out at them, I get the automatic thing. There's sometimes I'll hear things from people and I'll blurt out a solution without really thinking through how I'm presenting it to them. But, Ice bucket and fan versus hottest recorded day in the state. 2012, sophomore year of high school. We got a new IT technician who had enough certs to be legally allowed to teach classes as electives. Net Plus and SEC Plus. I believe he has a CASP, but I don't remember if he had it before or after I started the year. I decided to take an elective with him as a sysop. That's what we called that class/elective title thingy. Up to starting the year, my only IT experience is fixing my gaming PC and once kicking a printer in 4th grade and fixing it. Probably how I knew I was destined to be in IT. That year my state had record temperatures in August and September right when school started. I was probably about 2 to 3 weeks into school at the time of this incident, so I had learned the basic stuff such as reset passwords, printers, reimage. One day, a few weeks into the school year, the IT dude had to head out for the day for an appointment. And he said as he left, I'm in charge of everything for the day, and said make sure you keep an eye on the server room due to the heat. Turns out it was and still is the hottest recorded day in our state. I wasn't a problem child or anything during school, and with my new status as assistant sysop, I kind of had free range to go in and out of class to assist with various issues throughout the day. Especially when your IT dude was out or busy at the other school. So that day I would step out of class every hour or so to make sure the server room was good. About 1 p.m. I go to check the server room and the AC cut out, and the temperatures were exceeding over 100 degrees Fahrenheit at this point. I started to freak out because I can't fix the AC myself, and if it got any hotter I knew the servers would shut down, and that would be a big no-no. The school was still running Novell and just really old and outdated hardware, and I'm sure if it was shut off and restarted unintentionally it probably wouldn't start up again type of old. After brainstorming on what I should do, I got the biggest stroke of genius I ever received, probably cashed out for a few years. I propped open the door, got one of the ridiculously big industrial fans and pointed it to blow air into the server room. My high school had a large ice maker in the hallway. I really don't know why we had it to this day because where I'm from it's normally not that hot, even during the summer, and it's literally just sitting in a hallway, not even near the cafeteria. I went and found some of the biggest buckets I could find and filled them up with ice and placed them in front and behind the fan. It ended up bringing the temps from around 120 degrees Fahrenheit down to about 65 to 70, As long as I kept adding ice as it melted. For sure I saved the servers from either shutting off and or completely failing. Kinda proud of it. Well, OP, you should be proud. I mean, that's a pretty good task, and it was pretty quick thinking on your feet. Basically what you created was a swamp cooler. They're not real efficient at making things cool, and they definitely increase the humidity by a bunch, so you gotta be careful around electronics and servers with that. Ask me how I know. But I have a hard time believing that even with, all the ice you can muster, that you brought the temperatures down to 65 or 70 degrees. Yeah, I mean, I could be talking out of my butt here, but I don't think I've ever gotten a swamp cooler to take anything down more than 20, 25 degrees at most. But hey, if you got it that cool, good on you. That's fantastic. First week deployed. Rest in peace, UPS. My first deployment, Army, started about 2 months ago. The unit we just replaced left after the first week. That next Monday morning, I was by myself in the office trying to figure out how everything is laid out. The switches and router and VPN box is all behind a locked cage. The cage is centered along a wall of the room so you can walk across the front of it and on the sides if that makes sense. The old unit stuffed a bunch of whiteboards in one of the corners, and I decided to grab one because they're useful for tracking tickets, general information, and whatnot. I pulled one out after fighting with it for a few seconds, not thinking about why it was so hard, and walked back to my office. Within legit seconds, I had everyone storming my office saying the phones and internet are out. Me being the only one in the office, I sighed and started verifying that the internet is actually out. Turns out the old unit ran the power cable from the UPS to the power outlet outside of the cage and ran it through the legs of the smartboard. It's one of those ones that stands up and the legs are connected at the bottom. Turns out I shut everything off and we found out our UPS was dead. Sorry for the probable bad grammar and whatnot. I only had a few minutes to write this. Check the health of your UPS. Well, honestly, man, it's probably a good thing you did that. Who knows how long that thing would have sat there being useless. It's better to find out that your UPS is dead when it's not an urgent situation. So, while it was kind of embarrassing, it was actually probably a good thing in the long run. Sweating bullets. So this is a short story about my first days as a sysadmin for an SME. I got my job many years ago, hired from the inside purely on the merit of taking some 3D animation and modeling classes in college. So let's just say I was diving headfirst into something I knew nothing of besides maybe swapping out an NIC on an old gateway computer when I was 13, and having a vague understanding of what an IP address was. In my first week, I shadowed my coworker and tried to learn as much as I could, asking questions as I went. I wrote everything down on a pad I'd keep in my back pocket. In my second week, my coworker left for a year and my boss went on vacation for a week. I was there by myself with no real IT experience. I get a call from the boss of all bosses of my organization. He tells me he needs help and to come to his office. I'm immediately freaking out internally. So I grab my notepad and my pen, take a deep breath, and proceed down the hall towards his office. At this point, I'm replaying everything I've learned so far in my head and thinking, this is it. He's going to think I'm an imbecile, and today is my last day. When I get to his office, he's visibly upset and frustrated that someone has sent him some documents, but he doesn't know how to open them. Confused a bit on the matter, I ask him to show me. He points to a CD/DVD disc on his desk. Reluctantly, I pick the disc up, open his disk tray on his machine, place the disk in, and close the tray. Immediately, Windows prompts him with File Explorer and he sees the PDFs. Joy washes over his face. "What did you do?" he asks. I reply by explaining that you can put CDs in the computer here, pointing to the disk tray, and that lets you see what's on them. I walked out of there feeling like I might just be cut out for this job. I've been working here 6 years now and have learned a ton and even knocked out some industry certs, but have dozens and dozens of stories just like this that are perfect for this sub. So thanks for reading, and I'm grateful this sub exists. Well, OP, we're grateful for people like you that are willing to share their stories online, and gives us all a little chuckle and some warm fuzzies and occasionally a little head slap. User mad for mixing up Chrome and Explorer, then tries to BS and pull a Karen. Just in a venting mood after a recent conversation with a third party. Background: I work in finance and risk management, and we operate on a queue system for when third parties would need approvals and reviews on certain risks. Third parties would enter all the data needed for us to review into our company website. There's also a separate phone queue for third parties who need assistance with using our website, as well as plenty of guides and videos, as well as our risk appetite. Should that read risk app? I also used to be on the assistance side, and am able to troubleshoot and fix most issues, as some third parties end up calling the risk phone queue. So instead of just transferring the caller around, I would just get the call done there whenever possible. Plus, we're currently short-staffed due to the summer vacations. Third party. Hi, I'm trying to see what the effects would be to making some changes to an account. Me. Okay, what's stopping you from doing this change on the site? Third party. I tried, but it's not working. Me. Alright, try doing it again and I'll stay on the line to guide you. Third party proceeds to try. It keeps giving me an error. Me. Please ensure you're using Internet Explorer. Third party. I am, but it seems to not be working. Me. You're on the client screen? Third party. Yes. Me. What happens when you press next? Third party. Nothing happens. Me. Are you using Internet Explorer? Third party. Yes. Now getting annoyed. Me. Are you sure? Third party. Yes, we're using the latest version of Chrome. Me. The question was if you're using Internet Explorer. Chrome is Google Chrome, completely different from Internet Explorer. Our site only works with Internet Explorer. The buttons and scripts will not work on other browsers. Third party. Okay, let me try this again. Then within 2 or 3 seconds. Okay, I'm trying, but it's not working. Me, sensing BS. Are you sure you're using Internet Explorer? Third party. What's your name? Me. My name is Me, my manager is Direct Manager, and our call started at time. Now, are you able to confirm you're using Internet Explorer because, as I've stated, our site only works with Internet Explorer? Third party. Never mind, I'll try this myself. And they hang up. The sensing BS part is me doubting someone is able to do the following within seconds. Close Chrome, open Internet Explorer, go to our website and log in, navigate to the accounts page, search for the account, enter into the account, and then go to where the changes need to be done. I've also dealt with this third party in the past, and this TP likes to use years of experience in the industry as a reason for knowing everything and is always right, and will ask to speak to your manager if they don't get their way. I get that you can open the wrong browser by mistake, that's fine. What annoyed me was the BS attempt and then the Karen move when I'm trying to help. Yep, a Karen's gonna Karen. It just started randomly doing this on its own. Long-time lurker, first-time poster. I've worked in tech for over half a decade and finally feel like I have a story with enough substance to post. One of the first tech debacles I ran into this week. I get a computer to wipe clean of any company information from a user in one of my offices. Before I got it in my hands, he sent me a picture of the display that had a black screen with a lock on it. The laptop would not load to the OS past this. He said he didn't do anything and that randomly started several times throughout our interactions. Fast forward and we find out it's a BIOS hard drive lock. He manages to guess the password after several attempts and reboots. As the laptop loaded in, his earlier message popped up into my head. It just started randomly doing this on its own. I get off the phone with him and continue on. I reboot and get past the lock to go into the BIOS and disable the feature. Another lock shows up, this time with a computer icon instead of the hard drive icon. I approach it with confidence and enter the first password and it fails. I give the user a call back, and after another grueling game of guess, reboot, we get in. It just started randomly doing this on its own. This time though, I wrote down all of his guesses just in case, I thought to myself. I am, finally, in the BIOS and tell him, okay, I'll look into turning this off and let you know if I have any other issues. I find the steps to turn off the hard drive and BIOS lock, and I'm greeted with a screen informing me that I will need the supervisor password to disable the lock. I plug in the first password, failed. Plug in the second password, failed. There was a third password set on this computer. It just started randomly doing this on its own. Before calling the user back, I go through the list of passwords that I jotted down from our previous, and lo and behold, it was one of those. After plugging in this third password that he definitely didn't put on his computer, Wink wink. I reboot and the computer loads into the BIOS and OS fine. I'm finally in the home stretch, but not before noticing something that most definitely was not done by the user. The laptop had also been removed from our company domain. I'm not sure what end he was trying to reach, but he probably didn't get there. It just started randomly doing this on its own. To recap, there was a hard drive lock setup. There was a different BIOS password setup. There was a different supervisor password setup. And the computer was removed from the domain. It just started randomly doing this on its own. At the end of the day, I got the computer wiped and sent back to him, but it was one heck of a journey. Holy cow. The computer did it all on its own, huh? People like that are amazing. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. If you've enjoyed this content, would you do me a favor? Would you consider giving this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and maybe click that little bell icon so you don't miss the fat guy with the beard telling you stories. See ya!